A Mortal's Journey to Immortality Episode 170. Han Li and Wang Chan's group entered the dungeon, planning to explore the secrets of Senior Song Kuan. In the previous episode about the cave mansion, it was said that Marquis Nanlong summoned Han Li and others to discuss important matters. Marquis Nanlong looked at everyone and slowly said, "The purpose of gathering everyone here this time is actually to ask all of you to accompany me on a trip to Mulan grassland." Everyone was startled upon hearing this, and their expressions changed drastically. The cold-faced cultivator frowned and asked, "Brother Nanlong, you didn't misspeak, did you? We're going to Mulan grassland?" The other cultivators also looked displeased. Marquis Nanlong calmly explained, "Fellow Daoist, you've misunderstood. I'm not asking to venture deep into the grassland. Just to the edge, about 100 li away, will suffice." The cold-faced cultivator shook his head and said, "That's still a very risky endeavor." It's said that after years of recuperation, the Mulan people are once again stirring. That place is extremely dangerous. I'm afraid many sorcerers of our same level have also gathered there. Although those sorcerers have simple magic treasures, their cultivation and techniques are no less than ours. The spiritual arts they master are surprisingly powerful, and they are very skilled at coordinating attacks. If we are discovered, it will be difficult for us to retreat unscathed. Wang Tiangu suddenly smiled faintly and said, "What exactly is so extraordinary there that Brother Nanlong insists on going?" Marquis Nanlong's demeanor changed, and he laughed. "Brother Wang truly understands me best. Fellow Taoists, have any of you heard of Senior Song Kuan?" An old woman, hearing this, spoke with some emotion. "Senior Song Kuan? 5,000 years ago, the mad cultivator of Tianan who suppressed both the righteous and demonic paths." Marquis Nanlong, with a hint of an unusual expression, said in a deep voice, "Madame Tai is correct. It is indeed that madman who caused a great stir in both the righteous and demonic paths. This audacious mad cultivator was absolutely the foremost rogue cultivator in Tianan back then. With his unfathomable divine abilities, he swept across Tianan, almost unrivaled. Even the Grand Elder of the Demonic Path's Hahuan sect and the Alliance leader of the Righteous Path Alliance, these two recognized foremost figures of the righteous and demonic paths, would not dare claim to surpass this half-mad cultivator by even an inch. The place we are going to this time is a secret cave mansion that Senior Song Kuan meticulously arranged and set up back then." The old woman said in disbelief, "Impossible. Didn't that madman commit a public offense back then and was besieged by many cultivators and killed on the spot?" The old man from Baishan, who was in the nascent soul mid-stage, suddenly said, "Senior Song Kuan was not killed back then. Instead, he was forced to self-detonate 2 puppet avatars and used a trick to deceive the heavens to escape. However, after that battle, Senior Song Kuan was also severely wounded, and it was difficult for him to recover his heaven-defying divine abilities. So, after several years of recuperation, he disappeared from his original cave mansion. It wasn't until fellow Taoist Nanlong and I found his last place of cultivation that we learned from the remaining information that after this person disappeared back then, he actually set his sights on the Demon Fall Valley. He risked his life to enter the valley, becoming the first person to return alive from Demon Fall Valley." The old woman's face was filled with excitement, and she cried out somewhat shrilly, "Returned alive from Demon Fall Valley? How's that possible?" Han Li and the others all gasped. A dark-faced cultivator sneered and asked, "Even if this is true, what does it have to do with Mulan grassland? Did this person really take the treasures he obtained from Demon Fall Valley and bury them inside a secret cave there?" Marquis Nanlong said with an unchanging expression, "Fellow Taoist, although your words are not entirely correct, you've guessed about 70 to 80% of it. According to the information left at this person's place of cultivation, he seemed to have stayed in Demon Fall Valley for several years. Not long after he emerged from Demon Fall Valley, he passed away. However, he must have brought out quite a few treasures from Demon Fall Valley. Treasures that even the foremost rogue cultivator of that era valued are certainly extraordinary. Moreover, this person was capable of suppressing all other cultivators, so his own secret techniques and magic treasures are also remarkable. Are you truly willing to miss this trip to Mulan grassland?" The old man from Baishan also added calmly, with so many nascent soul cultivators accompanying us, ordinary sorcerers won't be able to stop us. Even if we do encounter some unexpected trouble, at worst, we can each break through separately. If you're unwilling to take even this small risk, then those who don't wish to go may excuse themselves. The two of us will find others to accompany us. However, there's one thing I need to make clear to you first. Just then, Hanli spoke up and asked, Han has a small question. Since you two know the location of the treasure, why did you specifically summon us here? Why insist on examining powerful individuals? Is this place hard to find, or does the opening of the Immortals' Cave have something to do with this? Marquis Nanlong replied with a hint of helplessness, fellow Taoist Han, your words are not unreasonable. This Marquis was planning to explain it shortly anyway. If the two of us could retrieve the treasure alone, we naturally wouldn't share it with others. However, last time, when we secretly ventured into Mulan grassland and found that Immortal's Cave, we didn't expect to find an ancient formation of extraordinary profundity outside it. The two of us tried everything but couldn't break through and enter. Because we were in Mulan grassland, we dared not stay long. We could only record the characteristics of this formation and return to Tianan. We then specifically consulted various formation texts to study that ancient formation. Finally, we discovered that this formation was actually the Taishu Divine Restriction, long lost since ancient times. Wang Tiangu's expression changed, and he asked with some surprise, Taishu Divine Restriction? Isn't this one of the 10 great ancient restrictions? How could it appear there? A hint of surprise flashed in Hanli's eyes, but he quickly returned to normal. Marquis Nanlong, smiling, praised him repeatedly. I've long heard that Brother Wang is a renowned master of formations, and it seems the rumors are true. Even such a rarely known ancient restriction is known to you. Wang Tiangu seemed to realize something and immediately began to politely decline. Brother Nanlong, you flatter me. I've only heard its name. As for how to break the restriction, I'm not clear either. Seeing this, the old man Baishan continued, the two of us studied it for several years before discovering that to break this restriction, one must either forcefully break it, gradually wearing it down with brute force, or find 8 cultivators with powerful divine sense. Using divine sense to manifest abilities can also break this restriction. Forcefully breaking the restriction is definitely not feasible. This restriction is extraordinarily profound. Even if the two of us were to relentlessly attack this formation day and night, it might not necessarily be opened in several months. In Mulan grassland, how could we dare to recklessly unleash our divine abilities? But if we use divine sense manifestation to break the restriction, as long as your divine senses are strong enough, fellow Taoists, this formation can be broken within a day. Upon hearing this, everyone finally understood why Marquis Nanlong and the other person had sought them out. Perhaps for other reasons, mid-stage cultivators with sufficiently powerful divine sense could also cooperate to break the restriction. However, the two of them clearly didn't want overly powerful cultivators to participate, fearing that they might be usurped. After all, both of them were nascent soul mid-stage cultivators, and while their combined strength might not guarantee a victory against Hanli and the others, it could maintain a delicate balance. Facing the treasures brought out from the Demonfall Valley, Hanli and the others were all greatly tempted. Although going to the edge of Mulan grassland carried some risks compared to these treasures, those risks were negligible. Such an opportunity other cultivators would surely not be able to obtain, even if they begged. Marquis Nanlong asked a few times, and seeing that no one withdrew, a smile appeared on his face. Marquis Nanlong then put forward his conditions. However, there's one thing I need to make clear to you all first. If all goes well and we truly enter the Immortals' Cave, the two of us must each pick one item first from the treasures inside. Only then will the remaining items be distributed. Do you fellow Taoists have any objections? Hanli and the others agreed to this. After all, considering both their cultivation levels and their status as initiators, it was normal for them to receive more treasures. Everyone immediately agreed to depart after 2 days of preparation. They all swore a heart demon oath not to leak this matter, and then left the place one after another. Can Hanli find an opportunity to make Wang Chan die? Han Li and Wang Quan go treasure hunting, unexpectedly encountering the vanguard of the Mulan army. Will they choose to retreat or continue forward? In the last episode, it was mentioned that Han Li planned to search for the Song Kuan legacy treasure. After he advanced to the nascent soul stage, because there were no suitable elixirs to assist him, his cultivation grew very slowly. If he didn't have new opportunities and good fortune, advancing to the mid-nascent soul stage would require hundreds of years of arduous cultivation. Now that there was a chance to obtain the legacy treasure of the number 1 mad cultivator in Tianan, Han Li naturally wouldn't give up. Han Li now possessed the Wind Thunder Wings and also knew the Blood Shadow escape. As long as it wasn't a late nascent soul cultivator making a move, he could easily escape danger. Moreover, Wang Quan would be accompanying him. If an opportunity arose to eliminate the other party, he would invite them to their demise. As long as he wasn't caught by Wang Tiangu on the spot, the other party couldn't do anything to him. Han Li didn't take an early nascent soul stage cultivator seriously. Meanwhile, Wang Tiangu took Wang Quan and Yan Rian back to their residence. He slowly instructed, "After we return, tell me more about the grievances between you and this person. Judging by his appearance, his hatred for you seems to have not faded. In the future, you two shouldn't stray too far from me to prevent him from ambushing you." Wang Quan respectfully replied, "Yes, second uncle." I didn't expect that a single lapse in judgment back then would cause this nephew to make such a formidable enemy. This person, in such a short time, actually broke through both the core formation and nascent soul bottlenecks consecutively. It truly surprised this nephew. The thought of Han Li already being a nascent soul cultivator left him feeling dejected and a blockage in his heart. Wang Tiangu sneered, "You don't need to be too disheartened. With the supreme power of the blood-drenching great art, you two, as a couple, working together, might not necessarily be inferior to that person. And once the blood-drenching great art breaks through the 7th layer, you and Ruyan can both form your nascent souls. At that time, it's hard to say who will cause trouble for whom. However, this trip to the Mulan grasslands, you two must be extra careful. Even if I truly have something to do and have to leave you, don't get separated. Working together, you should be able to protect yourselves." Hearing this, Wang Quan felt much more at ease and hastily thanked him. "Thank you for your guidance, second uncle." Wang Tiangu then muttered to himself, "Among you brothers, I have the highest hopes for you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought you alone to this trade fair." However, that kid was originally a cultivator from Yellow Maple Valley, and old Ghostling who also seems to have come to the trade fair. Could that person still have some connection with that old ghost? Hearing this, Wang Quan and the other person exchanged surprised glances. After Han Li returned to his residence and slept for a night, he woke up the next day and spent a full day acquiring all the materials he needed in a hurry. He then gave some instructions to Mu Piling, preparing to ask Lu Luo to take her back with him. When Lu Luo learned that Han Li had to leave early for something, seeing that Han Li didn't intend to explain in detail, he didn't press for answers. He readily agreed. This made Han Li feel a lot more favorably towards senior brother Lu. For the remaining day, Han Li meditated and cultivated in the pavilion. When the appointed time arrived, Han Li went to the meeting point alone. On a small mountain 1,000 li south of Tian City, Marquis Nanlong and Old Man Baishan were already waiting for everyone. Marquis Nanlong had changed out of his purple robe and jade crown, dressing as a scholar. Over the next 2 to 3 hours, the rest of the people arrived one by one. After everyone had arrived, the group of 9 quietly left Tian City, heading south towards the Mulan grasslands. Between the 9-Nation Alliance and the Mulan grasslands, there was still a vast stretch of barren yellow earth, nearly 10,000 li long. This area had sparse vegetation, with yellow dust flying year-round and constant strong winds. Naturally, it became the 9-Nation Alliance's battleground against the Mulan cultivators. Over so many years, the number of cultivators who had died here was already in the tens of thousands. Marquis Nanlong and another person led the way, while Wang Tiangu and his 2 companions brought up the rear. Han Li and the others flew scattered in the middle. They proceeded unhurriedly, flying forward at a normal speed. Half an hour later, old man Baishan, who was leading the way, suddenly stopped. Marquis Nanlong hastily asked, "Brother Yun, what happened?" He and old man Baishan took turns releasing their spiritual senses to monitor their surroundings. It was now the old man of White Mountain's turn to investigate, which prompted his question. The old man Yunqing said with a solemn expression, "It seems like a strong wind has started ahead. Something's not quite right." Hearing this, everyone quickly extended their divine sense to probe into the distance. A massive dust storm, over 100 zhang high, swept in from afar. Wherever it passed, sand and stones flew and yellow dust billowed. A hint of uneasy uncertainty appeared on everyone's faces. Han Li's divine sense was comparable to that of a late nascent soul cultivator. Activating the great evolution art, his divine sense condensed and probed into the sandstorm. However, it immediately became hazy, only vaguely sensing a few dozen zhang away. As Han Li felt greatly perplexed, cultivator Yoshing said solemnly, "This is the maple forest tree of the Mulan people, named Myriad Fathoms of Red Dust. This forest tree can not only block our cultivator's divine sense, but the yellow sand and fierce winds within it also have the miraculous effect of protecting oneself and trapping enemies. It's very troublesome." However, the astonishing scene before us seems to have expanded the range of the spiritual art 100-fold, or even 1,000-fold. It's a bit strange. Hearing this, the others all changed their expression slightly. The old man Yunqing said cautiously, "Fellow Taoist, you is right. Only a mage's spiritual art could make the sandstorm so astonishing. And looking at the power of this tree, who knows how many mages are hidden within? It's not impossible that there are even beings of the same rank as us. The Mulan people suddenly dispatching so many mages makes me fear that a border war is about to break out again." Currently, Han Li and the others faced two paths. One was to return the way they came, avoiding a direct confrontation with the Mulan vanguard, and then find another opportunity to seek the treasure later. However, the Mulan people's attack would certainly not cease within a few years, and circumstances were unpredictable. They might not be able to gather so many people again next time. The second option was to first conceal their figures and attempt to bypass the vanguard from the side. As long as they avoided the Mulan vanguard, they would have enough time to circumvent the mage's main force, arrive at the sparsely guarded Mulan grasslands, and then easily retrieve the treasure before leaving. Everyone was unwilling to abandon the current opportunity and wait years for an uncertain future, so none of them planned to retreat. Instead, they sent out communication talismans to report to the nearest strongholds of the Nine Nations Alliance cultivators, ensuring the alliance could prepare in advance and not be caught off guard by a Mulan sneak attack. Afterward, they concealed their aura and stealthily fled to one side, aiming to avoid the most violent central part of the sandstorm and slip past it. Fearing that Wang Chan and the other person's cultivation was insufficient, Wang Tiangu set up a huge light barrier, enveloping both of them within it, and gradually moved away. A distance of over 100 li was covered in an instant. Gray and hazy, the heavy yellow sandstorm faintly pressed in from the distance, carrying the distinct smell of yellow sand. Streaks of towering wind pillars roared in first. Fortunately, they had deviated from the front of the wind formation in advance and had reached a farther side. Only a few sparse wind pillars swept past them, posing no threat at all. The larger of these wind pillars had a diameter of over 10 zhang, while the smaller ones were also several zhang in size. Within them, human figures faintly flickered, revealing mages hidden inside. However, these mages did not discover Han Li and the others nearby, continuing their advance by riding the wind. Han Li and the others watched with cold eyes, stealthily continuing their escape forward. Just as they were about to plunge into the vast yellow sand that followed closely behind, the Marquis Nanlong, who was walking at the very front, suddenly changed his expression and warned via spiritual transmission, "Not good. Be careful." A massive wind pillar, roughly 100 zhang thick and so tall its top couldn't be seen, was actually sweeping horizontally towards them from afar. Such a huge wind pillar implied an extraordinary mage casting the spell within. Could this person have discovered them? Han Li took a deep breath, the azure bamboo clouds swirl within him, gradually building up power, ready to be unleashed. The others also stared at the wind pillar with wary expressions, some having already taken out their magic treasures. Han Li and the others were trapped by the Mulan people. Could they escape unscathed? Okay, that's all the content for this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. After all, your support is my motivation to keep creating content. I'm Han Li. See you in the next video.